Welcome to the review room, where truth and scenes are exposed.
My hair said something different.
Clark, are you okay?
Yeah, a little surprised because I know they did have a strong connection. Obviously, I am happy. I think me and Taylor have a great connection.
Hey people, welcome to the review room. Right now, I'm getting ready to review and give my thoughts on episode 22. Not the whole episode, people. This is the recoupling part. And I have some key points I want to get into about Orlandia and the Nicolandia Hive, or whatever it's called. And also this whole thing with Taylor. People, it's time for us to get off the Orlandia Hive train, okay? Because at this point, if Orlandia does not see that Taylor is not into her, is nothing, in no way, we should still be supporting her with that. Okay? I'm going to touch base on Taylor after I touch base on this whole Orlandia and Nick. First off, why would y'all want her to be with Nick? Why in the world would you guys want her to be with Nick? Nick, out of all people, like, no, people, no. Nick is not it, okay? Nick cannot stay committed to Sierra, okay? He was ready to almost risk it all with Jaden. Didn't even know the girl, just met the girl in the villa and was already saying things in his confessionals like this. Check this out.
In trouble? No. Will we get in trouble? Maybe.
So Nick is very unserious. He is there for a good time, not a long time. And I believe with him and Sierra, that whole thing is going to come crashing once he gets to entertain other women in the villa, because I think we got another set of bombshells that should be coming in, at least 2 more before we go into the finale, to the finals, because right now we have no final couples, okay? Nobody is concrete in these relationships right now. And I'm talking about everybody. I'm talking about Ace and Shelly. I'm talking about Nick and Sierra. I'm talking about Taylor and Clark. Nobody is concrete right now. And this is the thing that this year, this season is totally different, because there is no real solid connections, right? Because you know why? Because Adriana, which is the host, I seen her on the After Sun, right? And on After Sun, she said she didn't like when people connected too early, when they closed things off in too early and didn't explore, right? But at this point, we on episode 22, and they still playing this game where they want to try to explore people. At this point, they should be connecting, okay? So let me get back to Nick and this Nicka Hive or Orlandia Hive thing. Now, again, Nick is unserious. Nick is not a serious guy on this island. Nick is going to approach whoever he can. Nick is a very sexual man, so he is attracted. He has like a physical attraction to Orlandia. I think he definitely thinks she's a beautiful girl. I don't think he was lying when he said that. But if he would say he could see himself with her in a relationship, absolutely not. That would not happen. So I don't know how a lot of people were feeling like this could be a connection with them too, right? Because Orlandia wasn't even reciprocating. She knew that Nick had an attraction to her, but she never played on that because Orlandia is so stuck on Taylor that she couldn't even open up her mind and her heart. Not even if she didn't open up her heart, but the possibility of entertaining somebody else aside from Taylor, right? But I'll get into that part later. But her and Nick, absolutely not. I did not want to see her with Nick. It was forced. And for me, if you gave Orlandia and Nick, a opportunity to come back to the villa, why the hell didn't they give that to Jeremiah? We all know that they played on Jeremiah to get him out of there because he was too much competition, right? But meanwhile, we get a fake setup for them for production, which was their way to bring back Nick in Orlandia, right? We get this fake date. We get this whole, oh, let's see. They already knew they wasn't going to explore, right? So they played this game with dumping them at the villa at Casa Amor just to get the ratings back up, because people probably was complaining about how they did Jeremiah. So they gave us a little wow moment, or a little moment where everybody was focused on that and not on the fact that they played Jeremiah and got him booted the hell up out of there. But anyway, so Nick and Orlandia is a no. If I had to say if they both could stay going, I would have rather them stay going, to be honest, especially Orlandia after watching the rest of the episode 22. I was like, listen, we could have just let her stay home because she's not getting it. And it's ridiculous at this point. I think she's a beautiful girl, but she has low self-esteem. I'm sorry. I mean, she does. I don't know who can't see that, but she seems like she has some type of low self-esteem. This girl is beautiful. I'm pretty sure she knows she could catch anybody. Why are you stuck on a man that is not giving you anything at this point? And at this point, people, I'm just mad at how production is playing this whole thing out with Orlandia and Taylor, because I feel like Orlandia already know Taylor is not into her. She's playing into this, let's get down to the end, and then people would be like, all right, this is our love story. Oh, they going to get back together towards the end, and then they'll win. Absolutely not, because I'm not voting for it at all. So I don't know who's going to vote for it, but it won't be my vote. So as far as, again, as Nick and Orlandia, I'm not here for that. They could get the boot. I'm glad that he got back with Sierra, and that's going to be another mess on the show, because this is what's going to happen, right? This is what I foresee happening, people. I foresee that, if you notice, the people that kept in the villa, as far as the people from the guys from Casa Amor, were the only two guys that had a real kind of connection with the two women from the villa, which is Shelly and Sierra, right? They just so happen to keep those two men, right? So they saved Elon, and then Chris chose Huda. Now, before Chris and Huda decided to do this, they did this fake little hookup thing with Huda and Chris, right? Originally, when Chris came in, Chris chose Shelly. He did not stand on Huda's heart. So you guys got to remember that, right? For me, I feel like Chris could be a little bit of a player. I feel like it's a physical thing with him and Huda, right? I could be wrong. I mean, the time will go on and it'll tell. But from what I see, it seemed like it was a physical attraction after she kissed him, right? So he like, you know what? Let me explore that. Huda is single, people. People like, oh yeah, Huda and Chris. I'm gonna need for y'all to stop on that, because that is not going to go anywhere. I'm going to guarantee you that. And if it go anywhere, it's going to be fraudulent just to get to the end at this point. Because Huda is not the type of person that can hold in what she feels and how she wants a man to treat her. And that's going to backfire. And I think as long as Chris is there, he's still going to entertain Shelly. Okay, because that was his original person. Even when he was talking to Huda, he told her, sitting on the couch, she said, do you have any other connection? He said, yeah, you. He said, but right now, Shelly is still my number one. Now, what part of that y'all didn't see? For the people who are hollering, Huda and Chris, what part of that didn't y'all see? Okay, I think that the person for Huda is not there yet. I think that Huda is doing better. I think that Huda is trying to control her emotions, but Huda is who she is, especially when it comes to men and being in a relationship and being very territorial of the person she's with, okay? So if Chris gives her an ounce of, he's trying to, get really into her, and as soon as he do the wrong thing, that's it. She's not going to hold back. Huda is who she is. I want her to find love, but it's not Chris. I'm sorry, people. It's not Chris. It's not him. Okay, I don't know if y'all see this vision of the big tall guy with the pretty little short Hispanic lady. I don't know what y'all seeing, right? But that right there is not gonna work. He is not the person for Huda. Okay, he's not. I'm sorry, he's not. Okay, I don't even think he's the person for Shelly. But let's see what happens. But I think that he's going to continue to try to entertain Shelly while he's there. And this is where we're gonna get the drama, people. This is why they had Chris stay, and this is how they had Elon stay, because of Sierra and Shelly. That's why they had them stay. Because you know why? Because production probably rather see Shelly with Chris and Sierra with Elon. So mark my word, we're going to see what happens with that. But let me dig into Taylor and Orlandia, because this is going to be my last part. I'm not even making this review very long because I just wanted to touch base with this whole thing with Taylor and Orlandia. Orlandria, people, I'm gonna need for her to stop. I'm gonna need for her to get some self-esteem. I'm gonna need for her to look in the mirror and see who she is, okay? Because at this point, it's dragging. Like I said, I don't even think Orlandia thinks Taylor likes her, okay? I think that she's pushing it, and I don't know why production got her pushing it like that, if it's production or if it's really her, okay? Because this doesn't make no sense why Orlandia does not see that this guy is not into her. Okay, Taylor can't even look at her when he's talking to her. Okay, he does a glance, he turns around, it seems like he's forcing himself to entertain her or to talk to her. Granted, I think he believes she is a beautiful girl, just not his type, just not what he's looking for. Okay, that's not him. The person that walked in that's his type is the one he's with right now, and that's Clark. Okay, believe it or not. This boy, Taylor, he has a type. And for me, Taylor is very, very awkward. He couldn't do anything without Ace telling him to do it when it came to Orlandia. But right now, do you see him getting advice from Ace about how to entertain or how to show he's into Clark? No, he's not getting the information from Clark. He's going and doing things, not from Ace. He's going and doing things on his own, which means the effort is there, people. The effort is there for the person that you want, right? The effort is not there for the person that you don't really want. Okay, so if in Orlandia do not open up her eyes, first off, Orlandia had 3 opportunities, right, to open up and entertain somebody else. She had Jalen, where she said, oh, he's a little bit too physical. Then she had, this fake thing with Nick, which I didn't think it was going to go anywhere, but I would have liked to have seen her even open up then, because Nick sat there and told her exactly what Taylor did at the recoupling. Nick specifically told her, listen, I see that he has a physical connection with this girl. So I'm just letting you know, basically, don't waste your time. That's what Nick was trying to tell her. Don't waste your time. Nick basically was saying, you don't even really got to get with me, but I'm telling you, he's into this girl and he's not into you, basically, right? In other words, that's what Nick was trying to tell her, but it went over her entire head. And then we had Orlandia. Not only did she not see it, she continued to want to pursue Taylor. She sits down and she has a conversation with him after her and Nick come back in the villa and surprise them all. And even with the surprise, he did not pay Orlandia any attention. He jumped over Orlandia to jump on Nick and give him a 15-minute hug, which was ridiculous, right? And in these edits, they're trying to show us he's not into Orlandia. But this is the thing, people. Orlandia can't see this. She's in it, right? So she can't really see, right? So she can't see what we see because she's in it. So whatever little bit of gestures he's been giving Orlandia, whatever little things he's been saying to Orlandia, which I don't think is much, she grabbed that and held on to it. Because if you guys remember in the beginning when Orlandia first came there, she was saying that she was a person that held, that was pretty closed off to certain people. Like she wasn't really open, she didn't really give people a chance or whatever. So I don't know if this her way of gravitating onto somebody who's not physical, so she doesn't have to go too fast with the person and get herself hurt. But Orlandia, girl, I'm gonna need for you to decide. You're 27 years old. How old is Taylor? I think Taylor is probably like 23, right? Did he say 23, 24? I think he's older than Ace. And Ace is more mature than him. So My thing about Orlandia is I'm going to need for her to look in the mirror, people, and realize who she is. She is a beautiful young woman who does not have to ponder after a man like that. Okay, so back to her. They sit down, they have a conversation, her and Taylor, and she tells Taylor that it's always been him, it's him. Meanwhile, Taylor looking straight. Like, I'm like, he's not even listening to you, girl. Get up, man. If you don't get off this man's... He's not even listening to her at this point. He like, well, I'm going to just ping pong back off of the both of y'all. She's like, okay, I understand. I get it. What, girl? What? Are you kidding me? So at this point, I'm like, all right, she pushing it. At this point, Orlandia could have went home in my eyes, people. I'm like, nah, send her home. I don't know what y'all was thinking, but I was like, send her home. So then she goes back with Nick, and her and Nick realize that they just have basically a friendship, right? Because Nick already realized this girl is delusional and she's into somebody that's not even into her. So who would want somebody like that? As far as the people, the guys in the villa as well, they have already been watching some of the show. So they're probably thinking the same thing. This is why nobody chose her in the villa, because they're already thinking this girl is delusional, thinking she's in a relationship with a guy who clearly we can all see is not into her. Right? So now she gets to the villa and nobody really wants to be bothered with her, right? And that's with her, and that's with Huda. Because of Huda crash out, JT was the only one that went over to Huda. Huda's a beautiful girl. You would have been expecting them all to try to jump on her heart, right? But the men already see, right? The men already see what it is, especially when it comes to the connections they have on the villa. The people with the strongest connection had the most people attracted to them, right? Because that's what it is. Now, I'll go back to this whole Taylor and Orlandia thing, and if Sunday night this girl continues to try to pursue Taylor, she is a complete idiot, and I will not be voting for her. Even if they play this thing where all of a sudden Taylor's back with Orlandia and da-da-da, I'm not voting for them at all. That's not going to happen, because Orlandia is in the delusional world at this point. She's delusional right now. This guy is not even worth a that. He's not giving you any type of energy. And when it comes to him and Clark, I'm seeing her as, she seems like she's kind of attitudey. I don't know how she's going to get along with the other girls while she's there. Hopefully I'll see another side to her. But right now, she is the only girl that's going to be around the original girls right now, because nobody is new but her and the one Pepe chose, and I forgot her name because they don't really show certain couples. I guess because their conversation is dry or something. I don't know. They're not really showing Pepe like that. So as far as that, I'm like, yo, come on. So when it came down to the recoupling part, and she actually stood up there thinking that maybe Taylor was going to choose her, I was like, this girl is crazy. She gotta be kidding me. It's no way. But then people, I realized that who else heart was she going to stand on though? Because she already knew Nick had already stood up for Sierra. So who was she going to choose? So I don't know if it was her way of trying to stay in the house by standing there. I don't think she really thought Taylor was going to choose her. So, but I think she stood up there thinking that maybe she would still be safe though. But once it came down to the Islanders, again, people having to choose and telling us, like, I don't know what happened to the viewers' choice right now. Like, fans voting, like, where's the voting at? I think we have one vote, and that one vote still didn't get anybody eliminated. So they really doing things different now. If you leave it up to the Islanders this season, they are on Friendship Island, people. That's what they're on. They're always going to save the person that they're closest with. They're not going to save the person that they're not. But as far as the guys go, if they don't like you, you're getting booted whether you're their fake homeboy or not. But as far as the women go, they trying to be so loyal to keep somebody here that doesn't have a connection. So if Orlandia does not move around after this whole thing, she's crazy. Okay? And then before I end this review, in my thoughts, I'm going to need for Amaya to calm down. Every episode, she takes it to another level. Yeah, granted, I like the little part where she was like, really, Taylor? Okay, I get that part. But sometimes she pushing it. All the overly crying and dramatics. Even Zach K had to tell her, just relax, calm down. Don't, let it be. Exactly. Amaya wants her screen time by all means necessary. I know everybody is liking her and, oh yeah, she gonna get down to the end, whatever. But I'm not even sure if Zach K is really into her like that. I could see them being eliminated at the next recoupling, okay? Or if it had to do with voting, I don't know if Amaya is gonna get the highest votes, right? She might, I don't know. But right now, people, I am thinking at this point, and I would love to see at this point that Orlandia move on. I would like for everybody to let go the her and Nick dreams that they had in their head. I would like for them to let go the her and Taylor that some people may had in their head. And let's move on from this. Let's give Orlandia somebody that's interested in her. Now, I don't know. She's on the island with a few other people. I see Chris definitely is looking at her. I don't know if he'll approach her or try to get to know her, but I did peep him looking at her both times when she was eliminated at Casa and when she was standing up there this time. He always gives her like this look. So let's see what happens with that. But if they bring in a new bombshell, please let it be for Orlandia, because I am tired. Y'all done saved this girl 3 times. So it got to be something that y'all trying to give her, or somebody's going to come on the island and save her or show interest in her, because at this point, it's ridiculous. So stay tuned for my next review, and I'll do that one. Will be popping up on Monday, or I may do it Sunday night after the episode of episode 23. Right, because I think Love Island goes up to episode 30-something, maybe 32. So we have a good little 10 more episodes or something in there before the finale. And it's 9 couples there, people. I know it's going to have to go down to 4 couples. So some of these people are out of here. This week right here, we're going to see them dropping like flies. So stay tuned.